Misinformation is one word that can make any person confused and horrified at the same time. What if this misinformation is about the diseases or viruses that is going around in our environment? Terrifying, right? My group member and I'm going to do a research project on media misinforming us about the viruses and diseases and all those health communication and how they affect on the people's knowledge, trust, their conception, perception, and of course the decision making power toward the health related issues and diseases. Usually, mass media or media is an effective source where we can get provided both information regarding the health related issues and health related crises. So, effective health communication can provide us accurate information and which help us to view correctly and of course understand a certain health topic. Conversely, ineffective health communication can do exactly opposite, and that's what's happening in our current situation. The most hot topic of our current situation is coronavirus, which is also known as COVID-19. The way the all over the news channel media, the way they have been portraying it, it has been literally creating a terror in people's mind from the very beginning. And people all over the nationwide, they have started to stocking up their foods, and as a result what's happening all over the big stores such as like Walmart, Kroger, they are running out their important stuff such as toilet paper, napkin, or even a baby diapers. So in our research we are going to examine the relationship between the health literacy of the consumer and the media consumption. To do this, we are going to have a quantitative research, which is a survey, and definitely we are going to utilize OLS regression with the presumption that the cultivation findings and the media presumption, perception, and of course towards the media trust and the health presented health related issues are linear. This is the kind of like an overall overview that I have presented to you. Now I'm going to share my literature review where I have talked about my theoretical insights, and also I have talked some kind of other researchers that they have also done this kind of like similar research that we are going to do. All right, let's move on. Basically, misinformation is not a new thing. It has been going on over decades and decades. According to the researcher Wanga 2019, he has mentioned that misinformation is actually something which was started from very beginning, but it was only just 7% in 2012. In many public databases like PubMed, Cochrane, and the Web of Sciences, it has clearly mentioned that the rate of it was only 7% in 2012. By 2018, it has become 41%. That's a quite big jump, isn't that? Moreover, there's another researcher from East Kalingia that he has mentioned that there is a certain behavior changes related to the kind of media consumption. That means that through the media we can see kind of behavior changes in the people, and that is kind of relevant to our research, because in our research we are going to see how media influence our decision making power, how media actually influence our perception of knowledge, how media actually influence the trustworthiness towards the media. So I think these both researches can be relevant to our research. Let's talk about the theoretical framework now. Even though there are more theories around here, but I have, or our group member have chosen only one theory, which is cultivation theory. And the reason is the researcher Gardner and the Gross, they have also done the same kind of theory, and their findings is a lot similar than our proposed findings. So I just read it out that what they found in their research. They have found, number one, the heavy consumption of television can cause distorted understanding of reality, and it makes the people to view the world as more brutal and violent. Number two, they also mentioned media which is saturated with violence and panic is successful to produce fear in the audience, and subsequently the most successful to make consumer understanding the world as portrayed. Well, I must say, in terms of our research, their research finding is quite relevant and similar to our proposed findings, because through our research we really want to know that in what extent our consumers' health literacy can be distorted through the media consumption. So I believe that this kind of research will help our theoretical insights. Now we have talked a little bit about the theoretical insight, a little bit about the literature review and what others think about the research. Let's talk about our methodology. Before saying it, just let me give you an idea that about our independent variables and the dependent variable that we have used. This study is actually based on testing three separate dependent variables. First is the perception of knowledge that we are going to have through the media. The second, how it affects the consumer's trustworthiness toward the behavior. And the third, how it can cause or affect the consumer decision power taking towards the media. Alright, so these are the dependent variables. And we can say that television consumption can be the independent variables. Alright, now let's move on to the process. We actually do survey, as I mentioned before. There will be the 100 questions and the participants will be 1,500, because we are going to do a nationwide participants or survey. So this is why we have chosen a large sample, which is 1,500. And we also use a survey like an online monkey survey or the Amazon Tongue. And we're going to do in between like May to August 2020, because we think this time frame will be very effective and relevant. And interestingly, we have chosen Likert scale to do this research. And the reason is, according to me, there will be two reasons. First, because it will be very less time consuming and very convenient. The people who are going to answer our question, the Likert scale will be like either strongly agree to disagree, rating 1 to 5 scale, or just only yes no answer. So they will be so quick to respond their answers, and as a result it will be so quick for us for getting our result. And the second thing, it will be very easy to compare, because unlike the qualitative research or interview process, there will be no question answer session or no follow-up questions. So answer will be very particular, very specific. So it will be very easy for us to compare. This is why we have chosen the Likert scale. All right, let's talk about the statistical analysis. We have chosen for this the linear regression test. We are doing this test because we want to see that how much media is actually affecting the consumer decision power, their knowledge, their trust, right? So here we need to know the correlation. The best way to find the correlation is through the linear regression. The more the people watch the television, the more they will be affected. The less they will see the television, the less they will be affected. So here we can find the correlation. This is why we are choosing this test. And moreover, because it's a kind of like a survey, so while analyzing the data, we are going to transfer the data in SPSS coded, so that we can easily analyze our data. In conclusion, I just want to say that this would be a kind of a very reliable research, I believe so, but there are some kind of limitations. The first limitation that we felt is there are a lot of medias, right? There's the commercials of the COVID-19, there's the commercials of other diseases, there are a lot of media, not only just the Fox, CNN, there are a lot of media. So the reaching to those media is a kind of like a out of our limit. So this is the first limitation. The second limitation is like to identify the null hypothesis. Like if I see that much of television, you might not see that much of television, but still you are watching it a little bit and it is affecting both of us. So I cannot say that you are affecting zero. So to identify the null hypothesis is quite impossible here. So overall, I would say that even though there are the limitations we have faced in terms of identifying the null hypothesis, or in terms of the reaching all over the media, just staying limited in these 3 or 4 limited television, I would say that for the current information, our research can be very reliable. I hope so. Thank you.